We got a bidet! Hey everybody, and welcome back to another video. In today's video, we are finally gonna talk about my opinion on MLB The Show this year. Last year I put out a little video where I talked about the different things, my thoughts on all the different changes and whatnot that happened in 22. So I thought, we're almost to the halfway point of the game's live service life cycle. And also we've had almost 100 videos, if not 100, I haven't checked lately, videos dedicated to MLB The Show, which is the most videos that has ever been dedicated to a topic on this channel. So I thought I'd go ahead and take a couple minutes to talk about my opinion on the game itself. But before I get into my opinion, I think I should kind of introduce myself as a MLB The Show player to all of you. Like, as far as when you hear these perspectives, what kind of player are we getting the perspectives from? So I want to let you all know that I am a pretty casual MLB The Show player. I do put a lot of hours into it, but I'm not like overly good, if that makes sense. At least I don't see myself as super good. I guess I should say not super competitive, because we have all the videos on our channel about how to complete all the different single player things and whatnot. And I think through seeing those, maybe kind of this idea of, oh my goodness, he might be like a super good player. I would tend to disagree. I still end up going online and get absolutely destroyed by some people within 3 or 4 innings. So I would say I'm a pretty casual player. When I play online, I'm typically somewhere in the 400 to 500 range for the ranking system. I've not gotten into the 600s or been even close this year to completing, that milestone. So what I do is I do most of the offline stuff. I play the online to get the ranked program, and that's about it. And then everything else I do is pretty much offline, just playing against the computer. That's kind of my favorite thing to do in Diamond Dynasty, is just to collect cards and not sink money into it. So although I have tons and tons of cards, I don't spend extra money so that I can get all these cards. On the contrary, I do the donation packs. So I did the Jackie Robinson pack, and I did the museum pack. So I have done those as far as putting more money into the game, but otherwise, since day one, I have not put any more money into it. So all my opinions are going to be based on, just unlocking the cards as normal, as you can see on the channel with all the previous videos. And so that's kind of who I am as an MLB The Show player. I play mostly Diamond Dynasty. I don't do a whole lot of the other modes unless trophies or things in Diamond Dynasty are attached to them. Just because Diamond Dynasty is my favorite, and I want to spend the most time on my favorite stuff. Couple of things I want to talk about with the game this year. In my opinion, some of the 3 biggest changes from previous years. One is that we got the storylines, the Negro League storylines. The second thing I want to talk about are the Day 1 99s and sets in Diamond Dynasty. And then the third thing I want to talk about are the length of the seasons in Diamond Dynasty, and kind of how all this stuff connects, in my opinion on it. And maybe kind of where I hope for it to go. So for the first thing, the Negro Leagues, this was an awesome mode to put in. I thought it was handled pretty well with the way that it was all presented, all the things you can unlock, and all the education you can get on the players. I knew nothing about these players. Absolutely nothing. Whenever, MLB does the Negro Leagues jerseys to represent the Negro Leagues, I've heard about it, but I have never really dived into all the different things about it. And so I thought it was a really cool addition to put that in the game. I know they're planning on doing more of the Negro Leagues in the future. So I think that would be a really cool thing to keep on going and learning more about it. The second thing that I mentioned was the 99s day one and the sets that are now in the game. So how do I feel about this? Well, is it exciting to have 99s on day one? Absolutely. Is it exciting to collect them? Absolutely. Kind of where we start to see the issue is that we get, these Topps Now weekly things where we get cards that are not 99s, and so sometimes it's hard to see where these new cards could actually fit into, our lineups beyond the fact of completing the program. So like for me, what I do is I do all the moments first so I can have as many players as possible available to do the XP mission. And then I do the XP mission and then never look at those players again unless they're like Detroit Tiger players that happen to be the better version of themselves in the game. So like Eric Haas, his best card is a Topps Now card, so that's what I use instead of his live series card. That's about all I got for it. And also with the sets, so they've been doing like different collections. So a collection was set 1, a collection was set 2, a collection was set 3, and I'm assuming it's going to happen for 4, 5, and 6. They have started doing Team Affinity. One thing I will say that's kind of bad about the set collections, and I've actually reached out to, San Diego studios with the email stuff, and nothing has changed, so I'm going to bring it up again here. There are some sets that are broken. I collected every single card for the perks, like the very last collection there is, except for like 5 cards. And I guess for some reason something happened where those 5 cards were not supposed to be a part of it. And so what happened is that when I collected those 35 cards and I still needed 5 more to go, and then they deleted the 5 that I needed, well now it says collect all of them, which I have all of them, but because they're already collected from the past, they are not recognizing that I have all of them. And so there's some glitchy disconnect with some of the sets. That's not the only one. There's another one for, I think it's audio something. It's one of them in the, where you can get all the different equipment and unlockables and stuff. There's one in there too with some of the sounds where there's 29 available and you're supposed to get like 30 of them. Unless they're supposed to be coming out with another one, something's wrong there. And it seems really weird to have 29 of them at this point in the season when they, from my experience, don't expand too much on that stuff. Definitely not the perks. So I'm curious to see if that will ever get fixed. So as far as the sets, I think they're interesting, but I think they're a little bit of a downgrade from before. I remember there being lots and lots of other sets that, you could complete and get some goodies from. The one thing that I do think is kind of nice is the progressive version, if that's the way to call it, of the GOAT section. So they're always like building on the GOAT collection as you collect other cards as well. It's not purely based on online performance or you're flawless in, was it one of the events? I don't play the events, so I don't know what it is. But there's a couple of banners in there that you can only get if you're like getting those top tier things, and they're adding on to it so that if you collect like all of the set, then you can get things from the GOAT collection, like set 1, 2, and 3. I think the Team Affinity one is involved as well. So they're actually obtainable if you are just collecting cards on the side. So you don't have to, be the best, quote unquote, or score super high in the rankings to get most of this stuff. Now, you have to be getting those banners if you want all of them, but as far as, just getting most of those rewards, you should be fine just collecting cards as normal and then eventually getting them. So I think that's a really cool one to have. The last thing to touch on that is with the day 1 99s. My concern with the 99s is that the 99s that we can't use anymore from set 1, like right now we're in set 3, so you can use sets 2 and 3 plus 1 wild, which means you can take 1 card from the set 1 to use in your squad during ranked. My concern is that what's happening is, as some of these disappear, that maybe some players that we get that are new in the new sets are kind of like almost replicas of previous players. I haven't cross-referenced any, but it's like concerning that there's so many 99s, if that makes sense. So I don't know if I like all the 99s right away. I think I like the old system better, where we kind of, had the smaller diamonds and then worked our way up, and maybe a couple of 99s were released here and there. So I don't know. I hope they find a way to perfect that system, because something tells me that that's something they want to continue, because it seems to be what they're excited about. So I just hope that they touch up on that a little bit. The last thing that I really want to talk about is the longer seasons. So last year, it seemed like every program was finished within like 3 or 4 weeks, whereas now it's like, I don't know, 7, 8, or 9 weeks that we get per season. So, which we only get 6 seasons now instead of a ton of them. I like the idea of having it be more concise and focused, and maybe with having the longer seasons, they can focus more on the content for the next season and not have to constantly having to churn stuff out every couple weeks, because I'm sure that stuff takes time. It takes hard work to, make things that people are excited about and proud to unlock when the new stuff comes out. So I hope that this is... I want it to be a little bit more of a mesh, because I feel like 6 seasons, although they're not done yet, so I don't know 100%, but right now I'm feeling like they're kind of long. I'm kind of seeing myself having about a week to a week and a half of just doing random things, like trying to unlock cards, I suppose, but like all my programs are completed, all my affinities are completed, my rank program is completed, and so maybe it's a little too long, but hey, you have to try you have to try something to see how it goes. So I can respect that they made it longer. I just hope some of the content levels out. I feel like there's a lot of content released up front with the seasons, and then there's little bits and pieces along the way. So maybe if it was a little more balanced, that's kind of what I'm feeling. The one last thing that I want to talk about is just kind of some of my advice to all of you. I've done some advice sections here on the channel before, and I want to reiterate some things that might help you if you feel like that you're kind of struggling, or you're looking for some ways to unlock some things faster. This is kind of my advice to you. 1, when you go to sell your cards, like if you put them on the market, do not put them at the minimum price. Do not sell them for lower. Like if you were to list them and then they take their 10% off, do not list your cards so that you get less money by selling it than you do by quick selling them. So for instance, there are cards that you can quick sell. There's some gold cards you can quick sell for 1,200 stubs, okay? And when I see people selling their cards for 1,240 stubs in the market, well, when you do that, you're going to lose 10%, which you're going to be lower than if you did a quick sell. So if you see that, as it tells you, if you are going to put your price in there and it says, if you sell this, you're going to make this much money, if that number is smaller than the quick sell, just quick sell it, okay? Don't do anything else. And then on the flip side, if you want to get money fast, my advice is to list it for 1 stub lower than the current price if you want to make money quick. This is a live service game. People are trying to buy and sell cards all the time. There are very few cards that do not sell super often. The ones that I've noticed are like the profile icons that you can, buy and get. Those don't normally flip too fast. But if you have a player, put it out there on the market. I don't want to wait, XYZ amount of time to, get my money. It's like, if you put it on there, you'll probably get it within 10 or 15 minutes, unless other people are listing that card as well. So you just want to watch the marketing. which you can do very easily with the app, the MLB The Show app. I use it all the time. It is amazing. It is a super, super time saver from stuff in the past. I remember spending lots of time going through every single one of my cards, seeing which ones are doubles, and then listing them. And I feel like sometimes that would take just as long as doing a match in MLB The Show. And if you go in the app, you can just see all of the ones that you have that are doubles, and then you can just sell those. So that's what I do. I just put the filter, I go to my inventory, switch it to the dupes or my doubles, click it, and then see all the ones that I have double, and then I list all of those. Or, again, if the listing price is going to get you less than the quick sell price, then I quick sell them. They added quick sell to the app. That is a huge thumbs up from me to MLB The Show. That was the one thing I wanted that I submitted last year for a suggestion, and boom, I got it. So I was very happy about that. So yeah, as far as selling cards, be patient. It won't take too long. And again, if people are listing them right after you, get in that bidding war. Put your cards on there for one less than them, and then just see who gets theirs bought first. So yeah, and then also on the buying side of things, always, again, this is going to take a little bit of patience, but if you want to save money, create a buy order for one more stub higher than the current selling price. You might have to get in a bidding war with somebody, and that's fine. But usually, if you're doing the buy now order as opposed to just the buy now of the card, you can save a good 1, 2, sometimes 3,000 stubs because there's that much of a difference between them. So yeah, do those steps to save you some money. Now, the one thing that I do that some people probably don't do, that's a little bit extra, but it saves me a lot of time, is that I make a spreadsheet of all the players that get bonus XP from like Team Affinity and the different programs. So like, who do I have to get XP with to unlock more stuff? And I make a whole list in Microsoft Word, and I keep track. So like after you complete a game, it'll say in the progress section, you know, this person got 35 XP, so now they're at 155 XP out of 200 in their little mission thing. And so I keep track of all of those. That way I'm not wasting time with only one or two, whereas I can keep track of all of them at once and just use all of them in my lineup at a time while I'm playing single player and getting all those things unlocked. If you do a complete game with a starting pitcher and get, you know, a good handful of strikeouts and you win the game against a rookie for the play against CPU, just about every pitcher will be done in one game. Let that sink in. One game you can get the XP for a starting pitcher. I do it all the time. So you don't really have to keep track of, like, you know, put all of your starting pitchers you need XP for, or if you need XP for like players of the week for the Tops Now weeks, find the pitcher, put that player in your lineup, and then play basically 2 games in play versus CPU with that pitcher, and then boom, it's done, and you can go on with whatever. So know the system, know your math. Math is what helps in this case. So really, those are my thoughts on MLB The Show at about the halfway point of the game's live series life cycle. I'm looking forward to see what happens in the future. I'm really hoping for some more Detroit Tigers players that we haven't seen before, like bring back Victor Martinez, bring back Kenny Rogers, bring back Brandon Inge, Carlos Guillen, Placido Polanco. I'm just telling you, EA's game has some of those players. That means MLB The Show can get those players too. So please help me out, especially since how many players are there for the Yankees right now for extended off of the flashbacks and legends? Holy moly, there's so many compared to some of the other teams. We need to see some love for some of the other teams, that's for sure. But yeah, that's my thoughts and small discussion on MLB The Show 23 at the halfway point. So if you enjoy this type of video, and if you just enjoy MLB The Show 23 in general, Make sure to subscribe to the channel and turn on notifications. I am doing videos for MLB The Show all the time. If it's a how-to video, I'll just put it up there, and then you can go to the timestamp of whatever you need to see how to do something. If you're still wondering how to do it, drop me a comment and I will let you know what to look for or what to try that may help you in the future with some of that stuff. Drop us a like if you like the video, and again, drop us a comment. Let us know what you think of MLB The Show. Let us know if you need any help. I also do videos at the beginning of each season where it's me talking to you guys about what's new and what to look out for. So stay tuned for those. And then, as always, everybody, thank you for watching. We'll see you next time.